Hey everyone, back for another battle report here. Taking on the Salamanders once again. I'm switching up from my more competitive Leviathan list. I need a nice refresh, and I really want to try out my Tyrannocyte that we've just finished up the other day. So it's a Behemoth list. This is Nephilim with all the new rules. So this will be, I think, our second Nephilim battle report. There's one against the Harlequins that we just played not too long ago. So let's take a look. So it's 2,000 points. My hyper adaptation I went with, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was something ferocity. It gives me the +1 to my charge. We got a Tervigon in there who has the Maw Claws, and it's going to be spawning out some Termagants. Neuroparasite, I believe, is the power for that. Got a Broodlord. Just want to try the Broodlord out. It's been a long time since I ran it, and I just want to forward deploy with him. And he has Psychic Scream. We got Old One Eye in here as well. Then we have 3 Venomthropes, a Deathleaper with Alien Cunning, so I'm starting at 3 CP between the Warlord traits. Old One Eye has adaptive biology, so see if we can keep him alive. 3 Zoes with Catalyst on them, I think it was. I'll have to double check. What are that? No, sorry, he had Catalyst. They have Neuroparasite. That's what it is. We got 5 Warriors, Death Spitters, Adrenal Glands. They're going to be going in the pod with Deathleaper. 2 units of 10 Gargoyles. My Mawloc, I actually have a real Mawloc, but it's going to be a bit before I get a paint. So my Trigon is going to continue to proxy. Death Spitter, Tyrannocyte, that's going to be fun bringing that in. And then 3 Screamer Killers, and that's 2,000 points of Behemoth. Oh, and they have Adrenal Glands and the Spore Cysts, so they're -1 hit, even though I got Venomthropes. And then the one with the tusks right there is Synaptic Enhance, and he also has Hardened Biology, so 1 damage weapons give him a bonus to his save. That's 2,000 points of Tyranids.
All right, guys, we got 2,000 points of Salamanders. This is list is mostly unchanged from the last few I've ran. I'm trying to just nail down playstyle rather than switching up models. Starting out with the captain, grab his captain. He's got the his power sword. I took off a warlord trait because with new CP changes that have happened. So he's just plain old. I got my librarian. He also does no longer have the Reliquary of Gathalmor because of the CP change. So he's just base librarian. For troop choices, I got a 10-man squad of intercessors, 5-man squad of attack marines, 5-man squad of infiltrators. Into the elites, I got the apothecary right there. I did spend a CP and give him the extra selfless healer, I think it's called. So I spent CP there. 5-man squad of Flamestorm aggressors, 5-man squad of Blade Guard vets, 5-man squad of Terminators over there, and then Dreadnought, which I am proxying as a Redemptor Dreadnought. I got 3 Melta Boys, Eradicators. I have 5-man squad of Devastators, all with Meltas. I got a 3-man squad of the Eliminators with the Bolt Carbines, and a drop pod, which I plan to put the these guys, the Attack Marines right there, Attack Marines and the Devastators in, and then hopefully drop that if I get first turn on a nice close objective and hold up Tyranid Swarm. Anyways, that's 2,000 points exactly, starting out with 4 CP Salamanders.
Everyone, excuse me. Here's the table we are playing on today. We are playing Secure Missing Artifacts from the Nephilim book. So this sees 5 objectives set up on the table, angle deployment as so. You can see it marked off with the dice. The objectives will be moving once we determine who is attacker and defender, and then you get points for holding objectives in your opponent's deployment zone after we determine the priority objective for each of us. So before we jump into talking about secondaries and the table and everything, so you can check out these objective markers from 3D6 Wargames, so you can click the affiliate link in the video description, so you can grab some basement Wargame objective markers or make your own custom objective markers. Clicking the link and purchasing markers if you need them helps support the channel. And a big shout out to our Patron, Teos. Thank you so much for your continued support and being a part of the Basement Wargaming community. If you want to get involved and help support Basement Wargaming, you can check out our Patreon page. select from a few different tiers, and you get unlock cool benefits, such as jumping in the community Discord, getting to know the players at Basement Wargaming and our local community, as well as chatting with other patrons of the channel, or become a named unit in my army, such as Teos being the Rippers. So anytime you see Rippers, those are the Teos Rippers. So on this table here, talking about terrain, if you're new to Basement Wargaming and you haven't seen this before, the way we play these runes, just to give everyone an idea as we go through the report, how they function, is straight down. If you're underneath these floors, you're in the terrain. We're not counting as across there. Just to keep it simple. The bottom floor of the runes, there is no windows there, just to keep it even for that side having windows and that side not. These are obscuring, these big buildings. They are scalable. It's 5 inches to climb up, and they provide light cover if you're up in here or up on top of it. And these are just standard runes, exactly as you see, obscuring pieces throughout the rest of the table as well for these sections. And that is a table we are playing on. So we're going to roll off now and find out who gets to go where, and then I'll quickly mention secondaries. So let's jump over to our dice tray. We have a 1 to a 5. So Tyranids get to pick, and then we'll move some objectives. In terms of secondaries, I went with Engage, Assassination, and who's my other one? Banners. Yeah, Banners was what I went with. Salamanders went with Promethean Creed, Bring It Down, and R&D, that's what it is. Retrieve Nephilim data. So let's come back after we have deployed. All right, everyone, we have gone ahead and deployed. So I'm over here today. We've got my Broodlord deployed forward, just covering priority stuff now. This is my priority objective, so I got to move this one. I pulled it back towards myself. He pulled my objective a little bit. I got Gargoyles, Broodlord there. Old One-Eye tucked in, enough that the snips can't get him, but any line of fire can come that way. Carnifex is there. Venomthropes chain back, so nothing can come in my backfield. As well as the Venomthropes, Gargoyles by the Venomthropes. Tervigon right there, the Zoe boys here, and in my pod I have Deathleaper, 5 warriors, and then the Mawloc's going to be coming up. Then opposing me, we have Blade Guard, Apothecary, 5 aggressors, librarians there. Up here we got Eliminators, in the back, Infiltrators, then the Captain and Eradicators, 10 Intercessors over there. And then in the drop pod, you have the Devastators and Veterans, is it? Or Attack Squad? 5-man Attack Squad. And Terminators teleporting, and then, of course, Dreadnought there. So, Promethean Cult, upon the Salamander's first command phase, they get to declare which of these objectives is going to be there. So, I did move this one as well, so I kind of pulled it out, so it's not as easy to hold. And then his objective, he tucked back in for safety. So it's hold 1, hold 2 as well. I don't know if I mentioned that before. So that's it, I believe, for pregame everything. So we're going to roll off here, find out who gets to go first in this battle report. Should be a good one. Again, a little bit different of a Tyranid list. Always fun switching up from Leviathan and trying out some units that we don't seed a whole lot. So let's find out. First turn goes to 3, 2, 4. Tyranids, first turn. Strike again. So, yeah, he doesn't have to pick his thing, so he can literally wait, see what he wants to do. All right, so let's jump into it. Tyranids, turn 1. And my imperative, I didn't really think about it yet. I'll tell you. I'm not going to decide right yet, but I'll tell you after the movement phase. All right, folks, so movement is done. I enacted the Zoanthrope imperative. So drop pod came in. He did have a very solid zone out over there, which is unfortunate for me. Great for him. So I could have came down and over there, but I would have been fighting that brick over yonder. But I don't think that's the play. I think I'm just going to let them mosey up. The Mawloc will come up, do some mortals, and then just be there. And then I jumped my Gargoyles over. I was hoping to make it to that objective, but I didn't, unfortunately. Zoanthrope's positioned. Gaunt's respawn here, so we got a banner. Banner right here as well. from the Venomthropes banner here from the Gargoyles, and then the Gaunts that respond through a banner up on that side. Then Old One Eye moved up with these guys, all getting a 5-inch at minimum advance, so very solid. Zoanthrope's going to smite at them with the Broodlord as well to launch a smite up. And hopefully, if we can just clear those guys out, Old One Eye can run amok without fear of getting snipped down and injured a little bit. And also just kind of clear out any shots across the way down at these guys. Yeah, so that's it. And that's the Mawloc marker. So, in terms of... oh yeah, no, your objective thing happens next turn. So, let's jump into Psychic and... Alright, folks, so that is all of my shooting done and Psychic. So, I killed off the Eliminators, then did a little bit of chip damage. Can't complain though. I did 2 wounds to this guy, did 1 wound to these guys, had to Shardgullet them with the Warriors to help with my charges into there. And then I did 3 wounds, was it, to the Redemptor? Yep, so a little bit of damage coming in from those guys before we come barreling in. And that's it. So we're going to jump into the charges. So I'm going to try and get everything in here into that group, and then we'll come back after that. Yeah, 5. I got one. No, I got one back, yeah. So, end of the turn here. So, thanks to my 3d6 plus 2, Deathleaper made the charge in first, popped he shard-alerted earlier, and then Deathleaper did this little pheromone trail, led everyone in, we made the charge, killed off all but 1 guy. Unfortunately, then I spent 1 more CP, so I'm down to 1. Deathleaper disappeared. Didn't tag this guy here. I was hoping to clear the guys out. 2 ran away with morale, so I didn't have enough pile in to get to the Dread, which is going to ferociously hit me back, I think. And that's it for the turn. So 3 banners are up, and I hold my priority objective here, and that's it thus far for my secondaries, I believe. Oh, I will get engage for potentially for 2 points, because my Gargoyles are still within 6 of the line, and I think my Warriors should be, yeah, they're over, so 2 points there on engage. So we'll move into Salamanders, turn 1. Folks, so Salamander movement is done. So it's been revealed the Promethean objective, I think that's what we're going to call it, is here. So they move forward, everyone advanced, and then they're just getting positioned, grabbing that objective. The aggressors, unfortunately, even with the CP reroll, only getting a 2 for the advanced roll. Needed just, I think at least a 3 would have got a couple guys in range of them. But there's still 1 in range, or in sight line, I should say. The Eradicators jumped up there, ready to fire down at Artefacts. And then over this way, the Intercessor fell back to allow this and the Warriors to be shot, depending on what he wants to do here with the Redemptor. These boys rotted. Probably should have kept Deathleaper, because I think he could have tanked potentially most of it over there. It would have been risky, but they wouldn't have been able to do that action. Would have been cool to get that interaction. But it's going to be fun bringing Deathleaper down again to do some more shenanigans. So that's it for movement. Drop Pod's going to stay up in orbit for now. Just not fully satisfied with the positioning of it. Really the only spot could come down there to shoot stuff, or could come over there, but that's a lot of eggs in the basket in that corner. So we're going to come back after the Psychic and... Right, folks, so shooting is done. Not quite going the way of the Salamanders, unfortunately, thus far. So the Eradicators fired in. Really good hit roll, hit 5 of the 6 shots, then only got a single, or 2 wounds through, and then I had my 4-up invol, because that is the Synapse Carnifex, and passed my invol on 1 of them, then just doing 2 damage with that. Over this way, the Warriors absolutely tanking damage coming through from the Dreadnought, and only losing a single guy, all said and done. Also popping the -1 damage strat, so I'm at 1 CP as well. Oh, and Catalyst also kind of came in clutch. Over there, we lost a couple Gargoyles, but that's it. So we got some charges to go down. Dreadnought's going to come in and do some punching, as well as the Captain. I can't interrupt, so they're going to come in. So that is the end of the turn. So the story here is my Warriors... he doesn't care for them. So there's 2 left. I did the -1 damage, which came into play heavily against the Captain. Fair amount of wounds coming through, so chopping to a bit, then making my invols with the Zoanthrope imperative. And thankfully for him, it's done. Unless I use Hawk Nexus, but it's gone. Then that's pretty much it for the turn. So we're just double checking the Promethean cult.
Yes, I would get
2 points for that.
Because I scored at the end of my command.
The end of your command. All right, so holding that objective with an infantry unit scores him 2 points. If he kills stuff, he can get extra points. And what is it? If I shoot you and don't kill you.
If you just make attacks against me, I don't die.
Right, so don't attack them unless I can commit to it. So that's kind of cool. for Promethean Cult. And then your other objectives, you have one for R&D done and nothing else for monsters yet, but a few weakened ones on the table. So we'll move into Tyranid's turn 2. Alright, so movement is done. Gargoyle is shifting but over this way, getting 3 for banners and holding 3 objectives. Everyone else just kind of mulling about here to just kind of block out any deep strike in the backfield. Deathleaper arrived right here. I'm going to go for the Librarian. Mawloc came up, collected 4 wounds to the group in here. So 1 to the Apothecary, 2 to the aggressors, and then 1 to the Librarian. Gargs jumped up here to absorb some Overwatch, and Old One Eye's just coming forward. The Gaunts just move forward to take some shots up at those boys, and the Tyrannocyte's coming around to either tag them or go for those guys. And that's it. So we'll come back after the Psychic and Shooting. All right, folks, so that's it for Shooting and Psychic. So killing off, I think a total, was it 2 aggressors back there?
Yep.
2 aggressors between the Psychic from the Zoanthropes and, was that just it? Oh, and the Mawloc, he's the one who chipped down earlier. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of. Over this way, between, well, he didn't do anything. So these 2 are actually just one guy, killed off a lone aggressor up there. Just wanted to get the guy with 1 wound down. Eradicator, yes, yeah. And then that was pretty much it for Shooting, not doing a whole lot else. But we got some big charges about to go down. Deathleaper's going to go for the Librarian. But before that, my Gargoyles are going to absolutely eat the Overwatch from the aggressors. Do you want to Overwatch them? Probably, yeah. We'll come back. I want to roll Deathleaper's charge on camera. So we'll come back after it and see if my Gargoyles maybe live. Probably not. So my Gargoyles are gone, which was, I mean, we saw that coming. But he did his job in overeating the Overwatch. So Old One Eye's going in as well as Deathleaper. I would like Deathleaper to go first. Old One Eye's the Warlord, so we're going to roll him up afterwards. So Deathleaper coming in at the Librarian. So let's see. Come on, buddy. You can do it. He did it. So Deathleaper is in. I have 1 CP. Old One Eye's going in as well. And he did it. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, feels bad. So then the Carnifexes are just going to also join the combat here, and he's going to tag those boys. And that's it. We'll come back after that. All right, folks, so that is the end of Tyranid turn. So Old One Eye getting incredibly lucky, staying alive. The aggressors interrupted, but whipped on the hit and also the wound rolls. So thankfully he's still standing. He took out the aggressors. Deathleaper finished off the Librarian. Over here, my Carnifex got obliterated. I think he did 2 wounds to him, and then the Warriors actually hit back and did a ton. So he's down to 3. But he's looking to shoot them off and then make a charge here. And then the drop pod is also going to come in and potentially clear off a ton of things here as well. So that's it for the Tyranid turn. Let's move into Salamander's turn 2. All right, so Salamander's turn 2. I mean, it's looking grim, but we've been talking it out. I think there's still some plays. The objective game, he still has a decent shot at racking some points. The R&D is going to be the toughest one. I don't know if he can get that one potentially. We'll see. There's definitely still some plays that can come in. But the Terminators have landed here, lending some support. The Blade Guard have moved over because he needs to get rid of Old One. And he's worth some points too on the board. So if they can get rid of him, I mean, he's only 1, but still we can start racking that up. The Apothecary took place. The Blade Guard, they're going to charge in, and then the Apothecary touching the terrain to absorb any smites coming down, thus keeping this squad nice and healthy. And ideally, if they can take out Old One Eye and then have these guys come in and tie up Deathleaper potentially, that might be a play. Or these guys can just blast into pieces. Either or. And then over this way, Drop Pod came down, Maltas are out, Bolters are out. So hoping to chew up these guys in here. There is, I believe, it depends if that Carnifex lives. There's Synapse on those guys, but without that, they could run. And then these guys staying in with the Tyrannocyte, just keeping it locked in there. And the Infiltrators also coming out to just kind of get positioned to do some shots. So that's it. And Dreadnought staying in combat because he wants to just use him to shoot them. Ideally, optimistically, best possible thing happening. He kills both of them. He can charge in, fight off that Carnifex. And then things are looking on the up and up. So that's it. And a hold 1, hold 2 for the Salamanders. That's shooting done for the Salamander. So all said and done, it's not too bad actually. So both Carnifexes killed off here. Yeah, or sorry, one Carnifex was killed off here. There was the warrior I'm thinking of. The warrior was punched, and there's one warrior, unfortunately, on 1 wound. Tyrannocyte took a couple wounds from getting hit by those guys we forgot to combat last turn. Then 5 Gaunts, I think it was 4 Gaunts taken out. However, that is huge, being that the Carnifex that he killed was the Synapse one, so my Gaunts right there are fully out of Synapse. We got some charges about to go down over there. Old One, I took 1 wound from the combined shooting of all those guys and the Blade Guard. And that's it. So we got some charges coming your way. So we're gonna find out if the term. Who do you want to go with first? I guess.
We'll go with the.
I get. Or are they charging both or just the Deathleaper?
Terminators will do a multi-charge.
Yeah, it's the same. Yep. So you need.
Blind guard against the old one.
All right. So do you want? Who do you want to do first? I guess the Terminators will go first because they'll need to make room for the.
Yep. So I need 9 on the dice.
Now you're using the 1 CP. There it is. That's the 1 CP gone. Not today. But there is still the Blade Guard to do some work over there. So we'll come back and see if the Blade Guard can get it done. All right. So unfortunately, that's it. Old One Eye took no damage. I passed all of my invols. Or sorry, not invols. I had a 6-up save and I made all my 6-up saves. And then the 1 wound I took, I made feel no pain. So this is just not good for the Salamanders here. And then over this way, that warrior, however, was taken out, and that's the end of that. Oh, I guess we still the Tyrannocyte and the little guys there, but that is the end of the turn. So holding this objective still, so getting some points for that, and that's it for Salamander's turn 2. Folks, so that's the end of Tyranid's turn. We're gonna call the game here. Things just did not go well for the Salamanders. So case in point here for Tyranid's turn. The Gargoyle shot in, took off 2 wounds off the Dreadnought, and then charged in and killed it immediately. The Mawloc charged in, finished off a full squad of guys alone, and then the Carnifex charged in, mulched up another, and then Deathleaper is going to fight a character there. And at this point, there's just not enough alive on the table for this. But on a whole, I don't know. It's one of those games where, like, you guys didn't see the dice rolls, but it was just statistically a little bit over average for for the Tyranids. Looking at it, I think the Salamanders played it well. Just again, like, not down in here, some survival, like with that warrior living with 1 wound was huge, because then that Dreadnought could have charged and killed that Carnifex charging there. Whipping with his Meltas, firing in at any other Carnifex earlier too, really hurt. And then the first turn as well, the Eradicators doing collectively 2 wounds to a Carnifex. I mean, I did have my 4-up invul, but even still, it was a little rough getting 5 hits and only 1 single wound coming through on that. So it was an enjoyable game. Unfortunately, just it's the way it goes. But and not making a lot of those charges back there. I know a 9-inch charge you can't rely on, but had those have gone down, I really do think the Salamanders could have clawed back into this one. So with their objectives, being able to hold this one and also kill something over there as well, and then just protect that would have been an easy 15 collectively, in my opinion, over on that side, or just shy of 15, and then R&D would have been the only one holding them back. And then the third one, killing some monsters. I mean, killing the Carnifexes hurt too. Like, and he did Overwatch, actually worth mentioning too, that he dropped the Mawloc down to 4 wounds on Overwatch. So chipped it down, but again, the Mawloc just coming in and unfortunately spiking his hit and wound rolls, being in his second bracket as well. So thank you so much. I really do hope you enjoyed this one. I know sometimes the games can be a little one-sided with Tyranids, but definitely playing around, trying out some new combos like the drop pod coming down. Again, that kind of relies on going first, because he had the ability and skill to zone me out, but getting the first turn, being able to come down and get that hard alpha, definitely it paid off for me, certainly. And then those warriors just tanking an absurd amount of damage in the second turn with their 5-up imperative, or sorry, the first turn for the Salamanders, that is. So, but thank you everyone for watching. Again, I'm going to continue evolving all the lists. I'm having a lot of fun playing Behemoth and trying out different combos. Like, the big thing with this list is I really wanted to use that combo with the Tyrannocyte, Deathleaper, and Warriors. I've seen people talk about it and just sounded like a ton of fun. It is obviously very resource heavy in this era of 40k, but it was cool to do that, and I'll definitely try out some different combinations as well in the future. So I do have some more Carnifexes, well, in the backlog, we'll say, not on the painting table. But I do want to not necessarily run a full Carnifex list, because we know they're good, we know they're decent. But I would like to run a full shooty list, maxing on either Thornbacks or something else, just to kind of shake it up. But and also, I think the next game I play, I'm going to run Swarmlord and some Tyrant Guard and just see what happens. So one thing I've personally made for a rule for myself is I'm going to bring no Zoanthropes in the next non-competitive game that we play. I think just that involve, it is quite powerful. So thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next video.